given a satanic ring, and that ring was so evil. It was to boost on my ability to be evil. It was not a normal ring, it was a magic ring. And this ring, the powers it obtained were through killing and bloodshed. So for me to be able to use that ring to do anything, maybe to access its powers, I had to go cause accidents.
How did you get that ring?
Satan gave me the ring, and he told me that at a certain point of my life, I'm gonna get married to him. And satanic marriage, we were 7 girls that had been chosen for that season. And me, is because I had started questioning a lot. I wanted to know how I'm gaining. I'm like, guys, I've been serving you for all this time, like from when I was young, and now I'm almost making 18, and nothing to show for serving you apart from you trying to kill me and asking me to kill the people that I love and sending me on missions and doing all that. I have recruited 996 souls into the kingdom of darkness. Why aren't you promoting me? Everybody else is benefiting from this. Let me say, okay, we are suffering, but there are some people who are driving, they're building, their lives are, headed somewhere. At least you can see there is something to show for their effort. And me, I'm just working and being instructed and being punished, So when I started questioning that, he said, because of what you have done, and you have done it all this time, and you've been faithful to us, we are going to promote you. And that promotion comes with a satanic marriage. And the satanic marriage comes with conditions. In the kingdom of darkness, a promotion is not a way of relieving you from those heavy tasks, like how you get promoted and then you get people to work under you and then you instruct them. A promotion means you're going to work 3 or 4 or 10 times more than how you've been working, and the tasks are going to be hard, and you're going to become worse, you see. So Satan told me, because of that, you're not supposed to sleep with any man. You're not supposed to you're not even supposed to love men, because I was going to now work for a certain community, and I was going to be at a certain point. He said, you're going to study, and after you study, you'll be a social worker, because Satan also somehow gets to read the destinies of people. Right now I'm a social worker, but what I'm doing, he wanted me to do, to serve, to use it to serve in his kingdom. So he said, you're going to start an organization that is aimed at helping the women that have been abused by men, like rape, domestic violence, and things of the kind. And we will promote you. We'll give you awards. We recognize you, and you'll be recognized globally. And then we shall also be funding you with those big organizations that pose like they are fighting for the human rights and health, the world's health, all those big organizations. And then he has his other company that funds these NGOs that are serving his agenda. So he said, we are going to fund your NGO and it will be doing well, and you have something like a rehabilitation center. We'll give you all the medical facilities that you need, everything that you need. Those people, you will be able to send them to us so that we can expose them to a new way of living. And how is this new way of living? Where a woman is told that they can be independent, they know they don't need a man to make it in life, and some of them will be introduced into becoming lesbians. And Satan told me, we looked at you and we knew that you were the right candidate for this, because we put you under a South African artist who was a lesbian. That's when I thought of it. I was like, come to think of it, this woman, before she died, she was a lesbian. She had married a fellow woman. And now I got to know what the enemy was planning for me. So I asked him, at what point are you going to start funding me? Because I'm tired of just working and being commanded and ordered. He said, the thing is, you're the one who has slowed down everything. But because you're now going to be fully ours, we may not force you to kill your mother and your brother because your mom is praying and your brother. What we'll do, we'll just require that you give us your daddy's brain. If you give us your dad's brain, he will not be mad all throughout the year. His madness will be seasonal, and every time he loses his senses and he's not understanding well, you're going to be given funds. That's the time when organizations and awards and these other things will come in. After that, he will now become normal. Then you'll be surviving on what you obtained within the 6 months of the year. So when he said that, of course, I love my dad so much that it was not something I could easily think of. I said, okay, let me hold this ring and see what it can do for me. Then I'll get back to you. I'll give you my feedback on whatever I have come up with. That's when I got to know that actually, even the musician who initiated me appeared recently kissing his brother, and he's promoting that agenda. It's not something that I've just come up with. If it is just a story,
not a friendly kiss, it was some kind of
a man intimately
sick, twisted,
kissing
disgusting
his brother.
Type of French kiss.
Yes, and that's what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to promote homosexuality. I was supposed to promote the LGBTQ. That's what the enemy wanted me to do. And he was ready to fund me. He's ready. That's why Jesus says that, what shall it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? But because Satan is not loyal to his workers, he's a betrayer. When I was thinking about it, he had given me a satanic ring, and that ring would always speak to me. It would command me to go and satisfy it, to maintain that ring. It's like I was better off without a ring. But what I thought is that if I get some amount of power, I'm going to be able to protect myself from my auntie and my grandmother, because now everybody was a threat to me. I had nobody to trust. I could not confide with my mother and tell her what I'm going through, because my mom was serving in another kingdom. She's born again, and whenever she's praying, I am getting affected. My brother is also not in the world that I was in. Then I would look at my grandmother and my auntie. I couldn't trust them anymore because of what I had been through. A near-death experience. So I needed to gather some form of strength so that I can be able to protect myself. And Satan told me that ring would be my friend. I would only give it back to him on the day of our marriage. And the day that I was supposed to get married to Satan is the day that God delivered me. But I'm not going to go there yet. So, in that process, we were 7 girls that had been chosen, and one of my friends killed her brother in a sacrifice. For her, she did it, but she has lived to regret. She did not even benefit from it. And actually, I think she has given her life to Christ, because I had an opportunity to interact with her mom, and she was going also through a process of deliverance. Although not everybody wants to come out and share their past like me, I'm very open to sharing my past if my past will help another person. So when that happened, I was, one of my relatives requested me to match with the bridal team. So I was on his bridal team, and my auntie saw me. I was very happy. Life now was beginning to come back to normal, and I was beginning to look better, because when I was sickly, I was very thin. I was not looking nice. And now my life had now started coming back from the time I got the ring. I'm going to tell you what I was using the ring for. But before I go there, let me tell you what happened to me. So on that wedding day, because I was looking nice and I was happy, the enemy, Satan, and his agents were not happy. So that auntie, the same auntie, bought a photo from the wedding. She took this photo where I was to a shrine, and she bewitched me. In the following day, I got something like a pimple on my cheek. I squeezed it, and then it turned into a wound, a small wound. I thought maybe the wound would dry, but in the morning again, inside the wound was another pimple. So I squeezed that pimple again, and then the wound expanded. And then the third day, another pimple inside the wound. So it grew like that, and it consumed the right side of my face. So it covered, yes, but it was like eating me, because it would move. I would really feel it expanding, and then I would feel that serious headache. So this side of my face became black, while this side of my face was brown. And when I would go to hospital, the doctors could not explain, but I was really rotting. You would see this side of my face black, like this microphone, the way it looks, and this side of my face is brown. So it tortured me. I was traumatized, like 3 good months, traumatized, until now the wound stopped coming, but I had that permanent scar. This side of my face had become black. So, and I got my face back during deliverance. The demons confessed, and they were cast out, and my face, the wound came back, and then my face now became, it started, when the wound was healing, the black thing disappeared, and my skin came back to normal. It's like that thing peeled off. The black thing peeled off during my deliverance, during prayer. The black thing peeled off, and then I had to get my face back. So there is power in prayer. Jesus is a doctor also. I didn't know that Jesus can also do surgery and take away whatever the enemy had placed on you and give you a brand new appearance. So after that, I became so bitter and so heartless, because I'm like, okay, what am I protecting? If I cannot protect myself, what am I protecting? So I started now yielding to whatever instructions they were giving me, and part of the instructions were to cause accidents. So whenever this ring would feel thirsty, it was a demonic ring. So whenever it would feel thirsty, I would go. Whenever they are sending me to go, they could tell me, maybe go to Kampala Road.
How would it demand for?
It just feels thirsty, and then it starts demanding. Like I would communicate to it. It's not just
words with what?
You hear voices coming from the ring. It's not just like this one. This one is a normal ring. It's metallic, but the other one would appear. It would disappear. It would show some light. It would speak. I would hear voices. It instructing me that it's thirsty. I'm thirsty. So when I hear that I'm thirsty, I start asking, now what do you want me to do? Then it would direct me to go to an altar, a place where there is an altar. It says, you go to Kampala Road. I need to drink some blood from Kampala Road. So I go to Kampala Road. I stand at the side of the road, and all I need to do is to be stretching my hand like I'm trying to stop a taxi. When I do that, there's an accident. The taxis are crashing. The taxi is knocking a motorbike. But because I was not a murderer, my intention was not to kill. So I would not give in my hold, because Satan wants you to participate. So my whole will would not be there, and people would just get involved, and there was bloodshed, but nobody's dying. So Satan said, because of what you're doing, you're not giving in your will, your whole emotions towards these missions. Your power, that ring can do greater things, but your power is limited. What am I talking about when I say greater things? Whenever I would do that and cause accidents, they say, go to Masaka Road, go to Kampala Road, go to this street, go to the other street, go to this place. I go there, and then I would cause those accidents. And whenever I would come back, in the evening, I would start practicing my powers, my abilities to do things that a normal person cannot do. And I started realizing that, wow, I can be powerful, because moving this glass without holding it and carrying it and putting it down, I got to a point I wouldn't write notes in class. I would just take books from students, and I use the pen to write when I'm not writing, but using the power of the ring. And Satan will tell me, but you can even do greater things with this ring. It's just that you have not given in your will, your full will. What we have is your control. We are controlling you, but we want to get to a point where even if we are not controlling you, you're 100% on our side. Yeah, so I said, but I need time. I cannot just be 100% on your side after this torture that you people are putting me through. I cannot trust you 100%. Look at the scar I have on my face. Look at the things you people have put me through, the near-death experiences. And then you want me to give you my 100% emotions, everything. I cannot do that. That's too much that you're demanding. Then he said, okay, if we are demanding for too much, you're also going to be limited. And it's you to blame. Nobody is to be blamed for your little abilities to do things. So this ring, I realized it can help somebody to teleport, to move from one place to another without using a taxi or using any means of transport. So I try to also use it to teleport, but I would get inside, I would be consumed, and then I cannot move from that point to another point. Then I come back. Then I get frustrated. Then I do it again. I try to teleport. Then I come back. So I asked, why can't I move like my grandmother? She can move from the village to this place without a taxi. Why can't I do it? They said, because you have refused to give in wholeheartedly. When you're feeding the ring, you feed it wholeheartedly. It would also feed you back. So I started now thinking, should I go deeper into these things, or should I seek for help? Because now I was confused. I was in two worlds. Then they told me, okay, since you're not ready to cause accidents that kill people, we want you to do this task for us. I said, which task? Your mother is a Sunday school teacher, and your father is a Sunday school teacher as well. So on Sundays, they all want you to go to church by force. So don't fight with them. Go to church, but as soon as you get to the main service, you get out and go to Sunday school. What we want you to do for us is, in Sunday school, we want you to possess those children, so that when they go back to their parents, they are possessed. So what I would do, I would sit in church during praise and worship. Sometimes would also join the church choir. I disorganize the praise and worship. After disorganizing the praise and worship, the pastor is coming to preach. And as soon as the pastor gets the Bible to preach, I pretend like I'm interested in the children's ministry. So they would trust me easily because my parents were Sunday school teachers. Then I go to the Sunday school church, and when I would go there, children start fighting. Children become violent because of the ring, the powers that I had in that ring. I would send them to these children, and the children start fighting. They start crying. Others begin to feel headache. Others start falling sick. They call their parents from church to come and take their children. They are not feeling okay. They are vomiting, but they don't know that I am sending spirits in those children. So every Sunday, I would come out of there feeling very powerful, because the more you feed the ring, the more powerful you become. And then, as if that's not enough, on our way back home, I would cause accidents. So causing accidents and possessing children, then I get so powerful. Then now I'm able to also recruit souls into the kingdom of darkness when we are performing like karaoke dances and also maybe promotions. So I started now doing things and feeling like, yes, I'm moving. So after my senior 4 exams, Satan told me, we are going to promote you. You're going to sit for your A level, and from there you go to that university, and then you get a bursary, and then you go overseas. So your parents, if they are alive, will be looking at you as a successful daughter, but they will not know what you're doing. As we are from there, we shall give you funds. You go back to your place and you start that organization that we have spoken about. So I said, well, it's okay. So I finished my senior 4 exams. My grandmother came. My grandmother said, why are you going all that path? You can just do a shortcut. I said, which shortcut? My grandmother had wanted me to get married after my senior 4. And she wanted me to get married to another artist who was into witchcraft, and also he was popular by then. But I was not interested. I wanted to be independent. I wanted to go for higher powers. My grandmother was afraid of me getting those higher powers because already I was not so powerful, but I was disturbing them. So she was like, if this girl becomes more powerful, she's going to destroy all of us. In her heart, she knows that we are the ones that are responsible for her suffering. So she will want to get to seek vengeance. And she was so scared because she knew what she had done to her mother. So she thought I was also going to do the same to her. We're going first of all to our place, and then we shall think about everything from there. So I knew that I was now being arrested and I'm not going to see my parents again. And maybe I would appear like we sent her to Kampala and she got lost from there. So I pretended also, I played along with them. I pretended like everything is okay, like I've calmed down, like I'm thinking about it. So we start talking about the places we are going to go to, the parties and all that, and I'm now also playing along. So now we get to a place in Bweyogerere. By then, this musician had become very powerful, and his songs, he was trending. So that excitement of fame made him to get out of the car. There was a bar across the stage in Bweyogerere, and he wanted to get out and meet with his fans. So in that process of them getting out of the car, meeting with the fans, there's this boda guy, a bike guy. Though they are in Uganda, we call them boda guys. They use those motorbikes to transport people. So he came and said, I was... That time, I was like a Rasta girl. I had dreadlocks, but strange dreadlocks. So he came and he greeted me. He said, hey, what's up? What's up, Rasta? I said, I'm fine, I'm easy. I told him, how fast can this bike fly? In the Rasta language, in the gangster language. The guy said, man, this bike is so young, man. It can fly. It can even fly higher than a plane. I said, oh, are you sure? He said, yes. I said, can you turn this bike towards the opposite direction? Can you fly with me safely? He said, yes, man. Whatever you say, Rasta, man. As long as your pocket is heavy, man, we can fly. I said, okay. So I said, as soon as I get out of this car and I sit on this bike, I want you to fly. The guy said, yeah, man, we are going to fly, Rasta. So I was saying in our local language, it's even more funny in the local language because actually God had to also correct my language. My tongue was so spoiled. I used to curse. I was even preaching. In the first stages of my preaching, you would not take me to be serious because when I'm preaching and then I curse and I'm explaining to you what happened and then my tongue is not good, God had to take me through a process. So I got out of the car. These guys are greeting their fans. And then I jumped on the motorbike and I told the guy, fly. So I directed him. He just went straight. We crossed the road. By the time they are looking at me, I have escaped. And they're like, man, this girl has escaped, They're trying to stop the guy and me, I've already gone. So I went to a relative's place. Reaching there, I was so scared because I just wanted to enter. But I found the wife of my relative, and I did not want to handshake. I did not want to talk to anybody. I just wanted to enter the house because I knew people were following me. So I just greeted real quick and said, hey, seems you're so much in a hurry. You can go and rest. I said, is my relative around? She said, no, he's not around, but you can make yourself comfortable. So I entered, and when I entered, I went straight to the bedroom. Now, I was like, what do I do now from here? In the meantime, I don't know how long they are going to allow me to stay here. I don't know how I'm going to get back home. I don't know who to tell what I'm going through, but what should I do? So in the process, I realized they have a screen, and the screen was in the bedroom. Good enough. So I put some horror movies just to create an atmosphere that I can fit comfortably in. So my other uncle came. He phoned me in the bedroom watching horror movies and said, Erica, what kind of movies do you like? I said, but uncle, these are just movies, don't take it serious, Hey, I cannot sit and watch any movie with you. The things you're watching are horrible. How can you be looking at people eating people, things like that? I said, uncle, it's just movies. I don't know why you old people take things to be so serious. So he said, okay, if you want to use my room, you can use it, because I always revise at night. I can sleep in the living room, because he was not comfortable staying in that room with me, the atmosphere I had created.